Like, for real? You mean, you being dead ass? What is it?
Like They got me like 3,000 shares at the time.
So what's the share worth now?
Chuck's about to get
It's
rich.
like 76 cents, I think, or something like that. I don't
Woo!
know. Making moves.
Okay, got Steve.
All right, let's go.
What?
Dan was talking about like maybe the lack of practice time that you and then the team has had over the last couple weeks and the impact. Do you feel like that's had an impact on the passing game at all, and if so, how?
I'll just say practice is very important, especially in our sport. You practice more than you play, so the constant chase to get better and grow, that comes with practice reps. So you fail in practice, and stuff like that. So I think it's very important that we go out there and practice.
So when you went back and looked at like the Eagles game, even, did you see times where it's like you felt like that was impacting it, or do you feel like it was just a function of something else when things weren't clicking?
Yeah, I think we just weren't clicking on all cylinders. I think that goes back with practicing hard, and you can't replace practice reps. You can't replace those type of things. So, I'm with DQ. Like those practice reps are very valuable.
Mini break. Were you able to get away and not think about this, or did you decide, or did you focus on what's going on here?
Nah, I mean I was able to reset and and refocus, restart. It's kind of needed in a long season like that. So, I mean, it was great to get away for a little bit. But, I'm glad that we're back now.
Obviously, Dallas, the primary rival for this organization, but a lot of guys that played there last year, Quint, Dan as well. Any sense from those guys that this one means a little bit more?
I mean, if it does, they ain't been showing it. So, they've been focus on how can we get better, how can we improve, and focus on ourselves.
Where are you at physically, and did this sort of mini-buy sort of help with that?
I'm good. And, the mini-buy, I think it just helps just to reset your mind, and get ready for the second half of the season.
Coming into the season, I mean, knowing you would have a later buy and just coming off the college season and all the pre-draft warm-up and everything, how much did you plan it all in advance of, how to sort of manage things physically to make sure I'm okay for later?
I mean, I don't really think you could plan for that. Like, you get little tidbits from vets, but man, it's when they tell you I remember a lot of people told us this is gonna be the longest year of your life. So from last college game to pre-draft and to now, it's a very long season. But I mean, that just comes with the growing pains of your first year in the NFL.
You talked a lot about working with Marcus before the season. Is there anything specific that throughout the year, even maybe the last couple of weeks, that having him in the room, having his perspective has been able to help you?
Yeah, I mean, just how to handle adversity, things that you go through. You're gonna have ups and downs throughout the season. So how do you deal with that? How do you prepare for a short week? How do you prepare for maybe a week 14 bye and stuff like that? How do you manage your body throughout the season? So I mean, it's not just with Marcus, but it's just with all the vets. They do a good job of giving us game how to manage those different situations.
What was it like being on stage with Wale?
It was cool. Not really my type of thing, but it's all love, especially with somebody that has such an impact around the world and obviously in DMV too.
Running the ball, kind of the last two games, have the Steelers and the Eagles done something that has slowed you down, or is there something to kind of change you guys have to make to get back to where your legs are so efficient on the ground?
I think you self-scout and look at different things. Obviously, teams are going to start to play differently within, containing the run game. So you got to go back and look at it. And, we're always trying to find ways to improve.
And then, I'm just curious, you always talk about how much you love football. You had the weekend off. How much football did you watch?
I still watch football, college, NFL. I mean, the week, physically, mentally, just to be able to reset, and just chill, catch up on some rest and stuff like that. But, I still watch sports.
Jayden, I know fans are wondering, during the game, in between drives, you put on this wrap on your ribs. What does that do for you, and why do you do that?
It's to stay warm. I mean, it's getting later in the years, it gets colder. You don't want your body parts to get cold, so it's just to stay warm.
Cowboys played Monday night. Obviously, I know you guys do your own film work, but I assume you watched the game. How beneficial is that, knowing you're going to play the Cowboys, and did you watch the game maybe differently from the comforts of your home, just watching the Cowboys play on Monday night, and what can that do to help?
I mean, I watched the game as a football fan, so it's not really too much you can see. Maybe a little bit, but you know, you got to get the all 22 to film just to break down what they're actually doing. But you know, I just watched that game as a fan just to see some football being played.
Few teams kind of move around their star player as much as Cowboys do with Michael Parsons. What have you seen from him on tape, and I guess as kind of starting TV? How much do you have? How much time do you spend making sure you identify each play where he is, make sure you can block him up?
I mean, Micah's a game changer. Everybody knows that. Everybody sees that. They move him around, so he can impact the game in different ways. He might move from a 3 technique to rush in, stand up, might stand straight up over the center. So they move him around a lot to get him on some matchups. But, I mean, you got to always be aware of a guy like that. You know, you don't let game records wreck the game. So, obviously, we got to go out there and identify where he's at, but we got to go out there and execute our game plan too.
Jayden, we talked a lot this season about how this performance and your play has really helped re-energize this fan base. Cowboys are obviously the biggest rival for this franchise. What does Sunday's game mean to you as the players, as a rivalry game, and what do you think it means to the fans?
I mean, I'm still learning everything here, so maybe Sunday I'll go out there and really feel what this rivalry means. But obviously, to the fans, it's gonna mean a lot to go out there and try to get a win. So. I'm new to this, so I'm still trying to learn out, rivalries and, how fan bases and stuff like that work against each other.
Take a couple more.
Hey, Jayden, talking a little bit more about facing the Cowboys, even with their record being at 3-7, and beyond just Michael Parsons, could you talk about just facing this Dallas team on your own?
Yeah, I mean, the record doesn't show. I mean, obviously, a very talented team. Especially on their defense, they got a lot of guys that can make a lot of plays. You got Diggs in the back end that, he lead the ball inside. He has elite ball skills. They're very athletic. Got a lot of guys that can make plays and run sideline to sideline. So it's going to be fun to go up there and compete against them.
Hi, Jayden. Back here. You mentioned being able to watch the game on Monday night when the Cowboys was the Texans as a fan. I know you're friends with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Do you talk to him at all? Have you talked to him at all throughout the season? And maybe do you pick a brain like, hey, you just played them, what you see?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to CJ. I didn't recently talk to him after the game. We all get caught up in our own stuff, having to take care of what we got to take care of. So it's more so, hey, proud of you, stuff like that. It's not really some in-depth conversations like, hey, you play this defensive coordinator, what'd you think? So we kind of just, check in with each other every once in a while throughout the season.
All right. Appreciate it, Jayden.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jayden.
It's open, Charlie.
Get some
Charlie,
shot, buddy.
did you get us to respect us?